Hello. This is test to see whether or not I actually can go live. Last two times I've tried hasn't really worked very well. How's everyone doing tonight? Hey, Catfish. Alright, it's actually working this time. That's awesome. Hello, Raven. Hello, At Home with Jen. I hope everybody's having a good night. Don't really have a subject tonight. Just trying to test to see if this works. I just got a brand new camera thanks to my daughter. So I wanted to see if it worked. Apparently it does. Next week I'm going to start going live once a week. Each night I'm going to go over a particular gardening subject. The first one's going to be beginning gardeners. After that, I'm not entirely sure exactly which subject, but each one I'm going to try to have about a half an hour to an hour long to cover one particular subject. Answer questions. Get a lot of questions. Hi, Backyard Gardener. It's great to see you. Backyard Gardener has a great live that does that, where she'll cover a particular topic. Highly recommend her channel. The Catfish Terry's channel is absolutely fantastic. If anybody has a chance to, please go over and see Catfish Terry. Great guy. I'm just going to kind of keep this short, maybe like another 5 minutes. Anybody have any questions you'd like me to answer about a particular gardening issue that you might have? You're welcome, Catfish. You're welcome, Backyard Gardener. I hope that mulberry produces well for you in the future. Kind of strange seeing myself on camera. I don't think I've ever done that before. Is everybody getting a halfway decent picture out of this little thing? Thank you, Raven. Awesome, Backyard Gardener. Thank you so much. Thank you, At Home with Jen. Hello, Emily. Welcome in. This my first chat. I don't really have a subject going on here. It's more or less a test. Usually speaking, hillbill or catfish, if they're going down like that during the day, during the heat, it's a water issue. You can give them a little bit of shade cloth. That might help. Adding charcoal to the soil around them also helps. It retains the water. Hello, Coleman. Good to see you. Well, I really wasn't expecting this many people to show up. Uh, I've just been reminded to say I'm sorry I haven't posted lately. I've been having some technical issues between internet and cameras. Hopefully, I've solved most of those. My daughter bought me a new camera, which is what we're using right now. And I've also got one of my older computers up and operational. The other computer was completely full to the point where it couldn't actually update, so editing kind of stopped. There's 3 or 4 videos on it that we can't even get out of it. Kind of sucked a little bit. And Terry, sometimes you can have everything in a nice, orderly fashion, and just 2 or 3 of them won't cooperate. Sometimes 2 or 3 of them will get a disease for absolutely no reason, where the other ones next to it are just fine, or they'll wilt down. I mean, I've had ones of the exact same variety started at the exact same time, where they're planted in very large pots all right next to each other, and 2 or 3 of them won't cooperate. Unfortunately, sometimes you end up losing them. What I'd really recommend with that one is to give them a light fertilizer. See if you can put some type of shade on those particular ones and see whether or not it makes a big difference. Uh, Catfish, next time you go fishing, save up your fish scraps and chop up a little bit of it, just a couple tablespoons worth. Put it in a gallon of water and set it to the side for about a week. Then water those plants with it and see if that makes a big difference. Y'all see a name in the chat, Raven Jones. That's my oldest daughter. She's the girl in the videos sometimes. She's helped me a great deal with this. I'm not very good with computers. I'm a gardener. She's much better with this tech than I am. At home with Jen, what grow zone are you in? At home with Jen, what growing zone are you in? Hello, Rhiannon. 9B, you're in the same growing zone as I am. That's very common. Actually, tomatoes, generally speaking, die off about this time of year in 9B, Florida. It's not uncommon. Shade cloth will help extend it, or putting it in dappled shade. When I grow tomatoes here in Florida, I tend to grow them in very large pots so that I can move them over to the shade to extend their grow period. It's been a couple weeks of rain, and that's helped with my tomatoes a great deal. They're not dead yet, which means I'll probably get a small harvest off of them since I started them way too late. Oh, you're in the Central Valley. Wow, it's going to get hot there. A shade cloth is definitely a necessity in the Central Valley, unless you have a good sized shade tree to move them over to. Something that you can do to help with your watering is to mix charcoal, and I don't mean briquettes, but it's called biochar, in with your potting mix or into your gardens. Charcoal holds 10 times its own weight in water, and it kind of creates a little reservoir in there that the roots will get into. Help a lot. Another thing that you can do is make sure you cover the soil. All right, they're in the ground. Well, um, cover the soil with a mulch, hay. Careful on the hay, you gotta make sure it doesn't have a fungicide. Pine straw works very well. That helps a great deal. Just keep building your soil in that area, Jen. It'll eventually kind of level out. Um, Try to get some biochar in it. Roughly about 10 to 15% biochar in that area. It'll help a great deal. Keeping it mulched helps a great deal. Getting a drip irrigation system, and it doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be a gallon jug with a pinhole poked in the bottom, just a single pinhole that you fill up and just sit next to the plant to drip through the day. That's definitely something I've used in the past. There's also an ancient device called an olea, which is an unglazed pot that you can bury into the ground in that area, have a lid on it, and you just go out and you fill it up with water every couple of days. Jen, I've got a video in my stuff on how to make biochar and how to charge it. If you just put the charcoal straight in without actually charging it a little bit, it'll suck the nitrogen out of the soil and slow down growth. So if you're familiar with making compost tea, you make your biochar, soak it in compost tea for a few days to a week, and then you go ahead and incorporate it into an area that you're planning on gardening in. Thank you, Catfish. Anyone else got any other questions for me? You're welcome, Jen. Good luck. All right, I think I'm probably going to cut this short here in about a minute or so. Was just a test. I'm planning on doing this every Monday afternoon, probably around 5 to 6 o'clock Eastern Time. Not 100% sure on the time yet. I got to figure out how that's going to work and whether or not the afternoon thunderstorms here in Florida are going to be a bit of an issue. Good night, Catfish. Thank you very much for coming. Good night at home with Jen. Thank you very much for coming. I hope to see you guys again soon. Have a good night.